Now, WGEM Sports on the Tri-States News Leader.
Bragging rights. It's not a trophy you can put on your shelf or a ring you can slip on your finger, but they might be more valuable than both. That's what was on the line tonight as two tri-state teams collided in the 7th annual Missouri-Illinois All-Star Baseball game. And while QU football players will be returning to a new and improved locker room right here on campus, there's still the looming possibility that they return to a football season with a limited number of fans in the stands. Now, normally you would see many golfers practicing here on the putting green, but the Restore Illinois plan capped the capacity at just 50%. Here at Fuzz Burgess Field, our Floyd's premier event was the 400, which she ran right here on this track.
Now, WGEM Sports on the Tri-States News Leader.
You may not see many sports played around the state of Illinois because of strict social distancing guidelines and regulations brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, but one sport you can still participate in, of course, is the gentleman's game of golf. Some of the top golfers in the region come from the Tri-States, and one of them happens to live right here in the Gem City. That would be Quincy Notre Dame golfer Alex McCullough. The rising senior is right now dealing with what's now become the new norm in the game of golf. The summer months offer area prep golfers a great opportunity to own their skills on the fairways, and usually that would mean travel to various youth tournaments across the region. But for McCullough, that opportunity was all wiped away when the COVID-19 global pandemic shut down the economy for months and canceled several tournaments.
Kind of disappointing. This is kind of like probably one of my last summers where I'd be playing junior tournaments, amateur tournaments, so it's definitely disappointing. I feel like, everyone kind of missed out on a good season.
At this point, McCullough is striving to get back out to the fairways. Although he's under different conditions, social distancing guidelines are strictly being enforced, as well as different safety protocols. Previously in the state of Illinois, golfers could only play in pairs, but as restrictions slowly ease, groupings have increased to 4. However, only one person will be able to utilize a golf cart unless they come from the same household.
Definitely the tee times, the spread out tee times makes a big difference. The twosomes, 2 people per group, that definitely makes a big difference. It's a lot less crowded out here. Everything's way more spaced out.
Now, normally you would see many golfers practicing here on the putting green, but the Restore Illinois plan capped the capacity at just 50%, leaving golfers to spend most of their time on the course.
If you pick and choose your days, go for like weekdays, later in the evening, none of that should really interfere with any practice schedule you want to have. So it'll be crowded at times, but not all the time.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about many changes and adjustments that would take some time for many to get accustomed to. For Alex McCullough, though, it's just another day at the golf course, and he's not making any excuses. Culver Stockton head football coach Tom Sally went his first 2 seasons collecting just 5 wins, which made the Wildcats' 6-5 record last season that much more special. Culver capped 2019 on a 4-game winning streak for their first winning season since 2014. Culver picked up their 6th win in dramatic fashion, coming back to beat William Penn after trailing 10-0 at the half. The Wildcats shut out the Statesmen 17-0 over the final 2 quarters. Mind you, this was all after an all-too-familiar 2-5 record through their first 7 games. As Sally enters year 4 with all 22 of his starters returning, now accustomed to a winning culture, he knows it'll take even more dedication from his squad if they want to make last season's break through the status quo.
Now we had to prepare even harder. We had to work even harder. We had to make sure that we watch more film. We had to make sure that we work out a little bit harder and do all those little things right in order to make sure that we are prepared to do what we're supposed to do on the field.
Despite all the returning experience, the Cats aren't short on newcomers, either with 47 players in the most recent recruiting class that Sally is eager to work into the fray.
The biggest thing that we're excited about with the recruiting class is we think they can come in and compete right now. And I think the one thing that our guys know about us as a coaching staff, and we tell them all the time, it's our number one job as a coaching staff is to go out and out-recruit every single kid in our program every single year. That's our goal in the recruiting process. And our kids on campus's goal is to work so damn hard that it doesn't matter who we bring in, that they can't come in and take their spot.
And don't forget, tomorrow our Cardinals Radio Classics continue with Game 4 of the 2019 NLDS between St. Louis and the Atlanta Braves. The broadcast starts at noon on WGM News Talk 105.1 FM as we take you back to last fall on October 7th, 2019. Once again, that's a noon start on WGM News Talk 105.1 FM for Game 4 of the NLDS with the Redbirds and the Braves. But that's all the time we have for today. Once again, you can check out all our content on WGM.com/sports. But for now, have a good night. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Richard Denson. We'll see you next time.
Now, WGEM Sports on the Tri-States News Leader.
On a normal day, a national letter of intent signing would take place right here behind me at Illini West in Carthage, Illinois. But these are no normal times because of COVID-19, and with schools shut down because of the pandemic, Illini West track and field senior Ara Floyd held her signing not too far away at the Hancock County Courthouse. Floyd will be taking her talents to Lincoln College in Normal, Illinois, where she will run both track and field and cross country.
They felt more of a family compared to the other colleges I had talked to. So it was they were more welcoming, and it felt like I wasn't going so far away from home.
Floyd was the only senior this year for the Illini West Chargers, and she only got to compete in one event, the long jump, before the season was canceled.
It was upsetting because I wanted to, get better, of course, before college, so, I could prove myself that, I could work to what I wanted to do. But yeah, it is very upsetting that it got cut so short.
Here at Fuzz Burgessfield, Ara Floyd's premier event was the 400, which she ran right here on this track. And although Ara's career may not have ended the way that she wanted to, there's still much for her to be excited about as she moves on to Lincoln College.
Well, their track team is, I think they're going up more, so they're going to bigger events and stuff. So that's going to be different for them, so I can also be a part of that for the new year.
And for Ara's mom, Latora, there is one lasting memory she'll have on Ara's high school career.
Honestly, what will I miss? Not getting called into the Dean of Students office all the time.
Floyd's signing is just another example that even in these challenging and uncertain times brought on by the coronavirus pandemic, we can all still find a way to smile, laugh, and be happy. The COVID-19 pandemic has halted and affected many things in the college football offseason. No spring ball, no summer camps, even recruiting has gone virtual. But the extra time gives coaches more free time to work on other projects, and for QU football head coach Gary Bass, that meant addressing an area that hadn't been overhauled in more than 2 decades. The next time Quincy University football players fly off the field and out the huddle, they'll have a new space to land. Work is underway on renovating the team's locker room. Fourth-year head coach Gary Bass says he wanted to give the area a little bit of a facelift, so he and several grad assistants are resanding and repainting the lockers, with plans to add turf to the ground and a player's lounge.
And just try to do something to make it a little bit nicer for our guys when they come back. I think it's something that's hugely important because you spend a lot of time in there. Before practice, after practice, and giving them players' lounge to be able to go in and do homework, be able to go in there and have fun with each other, and just give them a space to be able to spend time together all in all throughout the day.
Bass says the project will cost anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000, with himself and school alumni footing the bill.
Anytime a player sees any kind of upgrade, any kind of resource input into the program, it just sends a message that there's a commitment behind the program, a commitment from the coaching staff. And I think this commitment is even a greater message because it's coming right from the staff directly.
And while QU football players will be returning to a new and improved locker room right here on campus, there's still the looming possibility that they return to a football season with a limited number of fans in the stands, something coaches acknowledge will be a challenge.
Your environment's your environment, and it's one of those things you want the excitement, you want everything at game day to be great. So, it definitely will damper things a little bit if they do reduce drastically what it is. But when it comes down to it, these young men are here to play college football. And the most important things are the games in and of itself. So I believe if you ask them tomorrow, do you not want a football season or do you want a football season with less people in the stands? I'd like to tell you every kid's going to sit here and tell you they'd like to play football season with less people in the stands.